Lobsters are fascinating marine crustaceans that belong to the family Nephropidae. They are well known for their long bodies, muscular tails, and large claws, which make them a prized delicacy and an iconic image of coastal cuisine. Below is a detailed description of their biology, habitat, behavior, and significance. Physical characteristics. Lobsters have a hard exoskeleton made of chitin, which serves as protection and supports their segmented bodies. They typically range in color from greenish-brown to bluish-green when alive, but they turn bright red when cooked due to the breakdown of certain pigments in their shells. Some rare genetic variations produce lobsters that are blue, yellow, or even albino, though these are very uncommon. Their bodies are divided into two main sections: the cephalothorax, which includes the head and thorax, and the abdomen, commonly known as the tail. They have 5 pairs of walking legs, with the first pair being their most distinctive feature, 2 powerful claws, each serving a specific purpose. The crustacean claw, larger and blunt, used to break hard objects like shells of prey. The pincer cutter claw, smaller and sharper, used to cut softer prey and manipulate objects. Lobsters have 2 pairs of antennae that help them sense their surroundings. Their eyes, located on stalks, are highly sensitive to light and movement, though they primarily rely on their sense of smell and touch to navigate and find food. Habitat. Lobsters are found in oceans worldwide, most commonly in colder waters such as the North Atlantic. They prefer rocky, coastal habitats where they can hide in crevices or burrow under rocks. They are benthic animals, meaning they live on the ocean floor, typically at depths ranging from shallow waters to over 500 meters. Lobsters are highly territorial and will defend their shelter fiercely. 3. Feeding and diet. Lobsters are omnivores, with a diet that includes a variety of food sources. They primarily eat small fish, crustaceans like crabs and shrimp, mollusks like clams and snails, plant matter, including algae. Despite their ability to crush and tear apart prey with their claws, lobsters are also opportunistic scavengers. They will consume dead animals when available, contributing to their role as natural cleaners of the ocean floor. For reproduction and growth, lobster reproduction begins with the male depositing a sperm packet into the female's sperm receptacle. The female carries the fertilized eggs under her abdomen for up to a year before releasing them into the water. Lobsters can produce thousands of eggs, though only a small fraction survive to adulthood due to predation. Lobsters grow by molting, shedding their old exoskeleton and forming a new, larger one. This process is critical for their development, as their hard shell does not expand. During molting, they are vulnerable to predators because their new shell takes time to harden. Juveniles molt more frequently, while adults typically molt once a year or less. Lobsters are long-lived creatures, with some species living over 50 years in the wild. The growth rate is slow, and it can take a lobster up to 7 years to reach a size suitable for harvesting. 5. Behavior. Lobsters are mostly nocturnal, spending their nights hunting for food and their days hiding in crevices. They are highly aggressive toward one another and can engage in fierce territorial battles, particularly males during the mating season. Lobsters communicate with each other by urinating from nozzles located near their eyes. This unique form of chemical communication allows them to establish dominance, find mates, and convey their mood or status to other lobsters in their vicinity. Point 6. Economic and cultural importance. Lobsters are one of the most valuable seafood commodities in the world, particularly the American lobster, Homarus americanus, found along the North American Atlantic coast. Their high market value has made them a key industry in regions like Maine, Canada, and parts of Europe. Historically, however, lobsters were considered a poor man's food and were used as fertilizer or fed to prisoners. Over time, with advancements in culinary techniques and the rise of lobster as a gourmet dish, its cultural perception has dramatically shifted. Today, lobster is often associated with luxury dining and is a sought-after delicacy in many parts of the world. lobster bisque, lobster rolls, and butter-drenched lobster tails are just a few of the popular dishes that highlight the creature's succulent meat. Conservation status. While lobsters are not currently considered endangered, their populations are subject to fluctuations due to overfishing, habitat destruction, and climate change. In response, many regions have implemented strict fishing regulations, such as minimum size limits, closed seasons, and the use of traps with escape vents to protect juveniles and ensure sustainable harvesting. Climate change poses a potential long-term threat as rising ocean temperatures and acidification may impact lobster breeding and growth patterns. Conservation efforts, including marine protected areas and sustainable fishing practices, are critical to preserving lobster populations for future generations. 8. Interesting facts. Lobsters can regenerate lost limbs. If a lobster loses a claw or leg, it can regenerate the missing appendage during subsequent molts. Lobsters taste with their legs. Sensory hairs on their legs and claws allow them to detect chemicals in the water, helping them locate food. Lobsters have blue blood, unlike humans, who have iron-based blood. Lobster's blood contains copper, which gives it a blue color when oxygenated. The oldest lobster. While the exact age of lobsters is hard to determine, some have been estimated to live over 100 years, although the typical lifespan is shorter. In conclusion, lobsters are extraordinary creatures with complex behaviors and significant ecological and economic roles. Their unique physical characteristics, slow growth, and intriguing reproductive methods, along with their growing importance in global cuisine, make them a subject of great interest in marine biology and beyond. Despite the challenges they face from human activity and environmental changes, lobsters continue to thrive as an essential part of marine ecosystems. Molting process. The molting process of lobsters is one of the most remarkable aspects of their biology. Since lobsters are crustaceans, their hard exoskeleton does not expand as they grow, so they must periodically shed their outer shell to form a new, larger one. This process is called molting, and it is both critical for growth and a vulnerable time in the lobster's life. Steps of molting. Preparation. Before molting, a lobster stops eating and absorbs calcium from its exoskeleton, making it softer and more flexible. This calcium is stored in special structures called gastroliths located near their stomach, which will be reabsorbed later to help harden the new shell. Setting. The lobster swells by taking in water, which causes its old exoskeleton to crack along its back and at its joints. It then wriggles free from its old shell, including the shell around its claws, legs, eyes, and antennae, which takes considerable effort. Post-molt softness. After shedding the old shell, the lobster is soft and extremely vulnerable to predators for a few days until its new shell hardens. During this time, the lobster hides in crevices or burrows and refrains from eating until it feels safe. Shell hardening. The new shell starts to harden within a few hours by absorbing calcium from the surrounding seawater and the previously stored gastroliths. Full hardening can take several weeks, depending on the water temperature and the lobster size. Lobsters can grow up to 20% larger after each molt, and younger lobsters molt more frequently several times per year, while adult lobsters may molt only once every few years. In the culinary world, lobsters are beloved for their tender, flavorful meat, which is considered a delicacy in many countries. Their meat is versatile and can be prepared in various ways, from being grilled or steamed to incorporated into creamy bisques or hearty lobster rolls. The combination of its delicate taste and the drama of cracking open a lobster at the table has solidified its place as a centerpiece in seafood cuisine. In conclusion, the lobster is not just a culinary delight but also an animal with an impressive array of survival strategies, fascinating biological traits, and a deep-rooted significance in both marine ecosystems and human history. Whether appreciated for its role in the ocean or on the dinner plate, the lobster continues to captivate and inspire.